questions. This is the Quick Bite Podcast.
Welcome to the Quick Bite Podcast. I'm your host, Brian Klinger. Today, I have a special guest, the one and only Phil Crawford from Adyen. Phil, how are you doing, my man?
I'm good, brother. Early morning rise right out in San Francisco. I couldn't think of a better person in the morning, too.
Nice. So we are coast to coast today. I'm here in Florida when we're filming this. You're in California. Thanks for getting up early. Appreciate your time. Hey, listen, tell me about what you're doing at Adyen.
Man, it is awesome. So I'm responsible for driving Adyen's growth within the hospitality sector, in charge of developing, implementing our global strategy for hotels, restaurants, and basically all things hospitality, which is, as you know, close to the heart.
Oh, yeah, definitely close to the heart. And in a nutshell, what does Adyen do?
So it's a great question because sometimes you have to ask yourself, how do you say that name? Like we talked about earlier, but more importantly, like we're a global fintech company, right? That we simplify payments worldwide. We focus on enterprise solutions. We unify commerce experience through connecting all sales channels, online, in-app, point of sale. We're a tech-forward company involved. We're always constantly evolving and innovating our end-to-end payment infrastructure. It really is kind of the glue that keeps global e-commerce engines running on a payments engine, which is phenomenal.
Nice. I love that. Hey, shameless plug right up front. How do people connect to Adyen?
So Adyen.com, ADYEN.com is the best way to plug into us. We got all the information about what we do worldwide with our 30 plus offices and the amazing people we have in the company all over the world.
Nice. Well, it's a pleasure to have you on, Phil. I've known you for a long time. You're somebody I admire greatly. I'm looking forward to this session. I think the listeners are in for a real treat. Let's get started. Question number one, what's the best piece of business advice you've ever received?
Oh, it's a simple one. Don't be afraid to ever empower your team. The more you trust them, the more they'll rise to any occasion. Like it's always stuck with me. And I've always led from that as part of my core leadership style, dude. It really resonates. There's no question about it.
Yeah. And I think people, when you believe, it's basically you believing in your team and trusting them, and then they can achieve things that maybe they didn't even realize they were capable of.
Yeah. Look at every successful sports team, right? Look at every successful organization. It's the empowerment. It's collectively coming as a whole to get things done. It is so powerful in so many ways. You can't go wrong with that style.
Yeah, I love that. Question number two, what are the 3 top leadership qualities that you think every leader should have?
Look, to me, it's 3 simple ones. And I've said this probably till I'm blue in the face or had when I didn't have gray hair, right? It's empathy, humility, and communication, right? It goes back to team, understanding your team's perspective and motivation on the empathy side. Humility keeps you grounded, reminds you where you came from. You don't have all the answers. It's okay. You shouldn't. Last is communication, right? It's the glue that holds everything together. It's about how clearly are you articulate your vision and you're actively listening to your team. And then more importantly, you're fostering open and honest conversation and dialogue. Like without that, dude, you're kind of stuck. Like if people can't trust you as a leader, you're not going anywhere. And
yeah, amen to that. That's a fact. So the next question is, how does someone aspire to a leadership role? You've held C-suite executive titles. You've been a part of some amazing brands over the years. You're in a business development leadership world. You're a highly sought after conference speaker. Everybody wants to hear from your wisdom, right? And years of experience. But if I'm starting out, like I've got 2 young boys, they're young men, and there's a lot of people that are in the audience that are younger and they're just getting going. Yeah. What is your advice for them as far as to be a leader and aspiring to that?
Well, shameless plug again. Like I do my Words of Wisdom Wednesday on LinkedIn. So if you haven't subscribed to that, you have to do that for sure. There's a lot of old age and wisdom there, right? But to me, it's always about constant learning and growing. I'm a big reader. I'm a big advocate of continual education. I went back to school in my late 40s, to continue my education. It's about taking the initiative and then being accountable and supporting those around you. Again, leadership isn't something you just become. It has to be something you cultivate over time to become this ethos of a person, but more importantly, of a leader that people want to go follow. Because that's what this is about. You're changing people's lives every single time you step on that playing field, in essence. And you have to bring your A game. But at the same time, like you have to be able to, more importantly, continue to learn and grow as you are as a human. Because without, if you're not learning and growing, you're kind of dying. It's called what it is.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. I think those are great words of wisdom. And definitely check out Phil, connect with him on LinkedIn. The Words of Wisdom Wednesdays are amazing, very insightful. And so, Phil, you talked about growth and growing as a human. What about faith? What role does faith play in your life?
It's a great question. A lot of people don't know that, but I live a very faith-based life, right? I read every day. I have my Proverbs I go after every day. I won't name them all because we don't have enough time on the 10 minutes, but there's a lot. Like it provides me a strong sense of purpose and guides my decision making, right? Reminds me to treat everyone with respect, do unto others as you want done to yourself, right? And always strive to do what's right, even when it's difficult. Like we all have been tempted on the angel and the devil on your shoulders. Let's be honest. You got to make the right decisions all the time, even when it's the most difficult thing. And having that faith-based life I live really kind of is an ethos inside
absolutely.
the man.
I love that, Phil. That's great. So who's had the greatest impact on you professionally and why?
Oh, this is a deep one. Like I can name names and people I've worked with. You point, I've been blessed to work with some amazing companies and some amazing leaders, from Jeff Fuchs to Harold Herman at the Yard House days and the Shack days. But, it's not really a CEO or a famous person per se. It's quite humbling. It goes back to the strength of the industry I love, which is hospitality, and the dishwashers that show up every day. It's dedication. The line cooks that talk about their passion of food, right? And the excellence of the quality they put out. It's the servers that have grace and empathy that go out and they talk about the customers and how the genuine hospitality. It's not so much about like a title per se, but it's the contributions of everyone that's had the impact on me, because it teaches you to have some graceful and humility in those experiences that's instilled in me. Like I started off at Carl's Jr. at 16, right? And I've been blessed enough to be at that senior role in that same company. I still remember putting my bike to work, right, man? And flipping burgers, dude. You don't ever forget where you came from. And that's probably the greatest impact on me professionally is remember where your roots are.
Yeah, I think what I'm hearing and what you're saying is that when you treat everyone with empathy and honor and respect and dignity, it also, it's that empowerment that people, whether you're in the front lines or the back of the house, everyone can lead. Everyone is important and every life matters. Every life has a story that, is worth sharing and people have opportunities to grow and learn from folks that, do everyday jobs. They don't have to be the C-suite to be a leader.
A title doesn't make you a leader. There's servant leadership. You can lead up and you can also lead down, right? It goes both ways. I mean, I'm not at the highest rank in my current company, and I love that. I can lead in a 360 approach, not just down. And that really is empowering for the next generation, but also myself, because it kind of reestablishes yourself of who you are as a person and an individual leader. Like it's empowering to see light bulbs pop in people's minds when you have their input and obviously their verdicts on how things are pulling out. It's huge.
Absolutely. What's one company you admire and why?
Oh, this is a shameless plug for you as well, because I've seen what you dress sometimes. It's Chick-fil-A, man. It's something about their culture that drives that brand to the next level in hospitality. It's phenomenal. There's your plug right there. I love it. Right. Plus their commitment to overall and their commitment to faith. Again, back to your earlier question, they could open that seventh day and make a killing. They're like, no, we're not changing who we are. We believe, and this is our mission and our value. And even in Adyen, we have a formula that really drives our company and our culture and our values. It is amazing to be immersed with these people from all different walks of life and all over the world to come here, and they all share that same vision and have the same admiration and the same respect. And quite frankly, they all live this formula that isn't just words on a wall. It actually is true and ingrained in our day to day. It's amazing to see not just hospitality, but other industries have that same kind of value and statements. And again, both founder led too, which is really important.
Yeah, it really, if you talk to Chick-fil-A, they would underscore what you're saying by just saying that their success really rises and falls on their culture.
Yeah.
And it really has to be alignment across the board of the people that work there, that everyone is rowing in the same direction culturally, right? And that really does start with what you expect and how you manage it and celebrate it too when people do things the right way. Tell me about a time you overcame adversity.
Adversity that hits, I think, all the time, right? I think that if you look at what I've done in my life, both professionally and in person, I think losing my parents at, I wouldn't say too much of an early age, but years ago, it's obviously hard to have those responsibilities of your job and obviously your family. I don't have any siblings, but obviously my new family and so forth. That's been actually a hard thing to overcome, because I've seen those memes on Instagram that says, don't ever take for granted when you have a phone call that says mom or dad. Yeah, I don't have those. And it's actually hard because the team supported me through all that. My friends supported me all that. And they stepped up in ways that I could never imagined. I mean, offering just practical help, advice, offering friendship, offering guidance, emotional support. I mean, let's go have a drink. You name it, right? It was huge. And those experiences taught me the importance of resilience and the power of human connection. And then again, back to we talked about earlier, the true meaning of empathy, right? It also shaped my leadership style, and I've learned the compassion side. And I think even Danny Meyer, I was privileged to work for that gentleman for, several years, charitable assumptions. You never know what people were going through So make sure you resonate with that. And so makes you feel supported and valued, and that you can go through everything, not just as a leader or a person, more as a human being.
I tell people all the time that the greatest wealth you can accumulate in life are rich friendships.
Yeah.
You know, that rich network of people that you can lean on and have that inner circle that can be there with you. Because as you said, you know, you're going to need them. We're all going to need them at some point in our life and our journey. So that's great, Phil. Thank you for sharing that about your life there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to dig a little deeper. Let's reveal to our audience a little fun fact about Phil Crawford that a lot of people may not know.
Well, besides the tattoos that I talk about on almost every podcast, the people are like, wow, you got tats up. I'm like, yeah, I do, but you can't see them right now because I have a hat and a hoodie on. But really, I'm a car guy. Like, and I love being outdoors. So I have several classics parked at the house that I love to work on the weekends and take out. I think sometimes I was born in the wrong decade. I should have been a greaser back in the 50s and 60s, but it's okay. I'll keep up now with the Stangs, the Camaro, and the Chevelle. But outside of that, dude, like being outside is what I love about me. So running, hiking, biking, backpacking, like those things to me are really, because to me, that's kind of the enablement of bringing work and life into balance in the outdoors, and just really like how significant or insignificant you are on the overall grandeur of things. There's also good mental health, right? To me as well, just to get out and bring in the fresh air and get out of the hotels, as we say all the time.
Yeah, exactly. That's a great segue into my next question as we get close to wrapping up here is, how much time are you able to dedicate as a busy executive to unwinding? And what do you like to do? You mentioned walking, being outdoors. Is that kind of your thing?
It is my thing. So I got up at 4 a.m. this morning, went for a 4-mile run here at obviously the hotel gym, but like, that's my de-stressor. Like, I think it becomes a very much part of my day that I have to break away for at least an hour, especially in the morning, and work out, hit a gym, get outside, do something, reading, meditating, read a book. The thing people don't know about, I do acupuncture almost every week, right? And having that deep meditation thing, to me, that is a grounding element. It also, gets me in touch with my mind and my soul, my yin and my yang. And it really has kind of changed my life overall.
Oh man, that's amazing. I'll have to try that. I've never done acupuncture before.
Dude, it's a game changer. I'm telling you. And people are like, the needles, don't you feel? I'm like, yeah, to the point I've gotten so relaxed, I fall asleep during the sessions. Like,
oh, wow.
That's how meaningful it is to me. It's pretty cool.
And one of the sessions, are they usually an hour long? How long is it?
I usually go for 30 minutes. Sometimes if I'm really stressed, I tell William, the guy I go to in Tennessee, is like, I need 45. He's like, I can tell because your muscles are like letting go. And that part is after you're like, man, I'm so relaxed. Like you can feel the tension come back every once in a while. So it's kind of a cool feeling too.
That's cool. I'll have to check that out sometime. Yeah. So in wrapping up, Phil, and thank you for, again, all your insights. What is your why? What really drives you deep down?
Yeah. You know what? Here's why this is a great question, because I'm a big believer of leaving things better than you found them. I mean, I think if you look at everything I've done in my career, I think also when you look at my family life, like I want to instill things of how we shape the industry, but also how we shape kind of mankind. Like we only have a limited amount of time on this earth and you got to make it count. And during my time, I want to be known as the person that left it better than I found it. And really that is my drive, right? I don't have all the answers. That's okay. I don't have all the right decisions sometimes, but I want to make sure that I leave it in a better place than I got it, whether it be in technology where I'm innovating the guest journey or empowering our teams or making better leaders, or with my kids, like seeing where they see me, where I've gone and take risks and challenges or move my career. Like, hey, we didn't get to where we're at as a family because of, silver spoons, like hard work and dedication and giving them the success in the future. Like these are all things about leaving a lasting impression longer term, because that's really what's exciting. That's really what drives me and then almost every day.
That's great, Phil. I think our audience has gained a lot of insights, and listen, to know Phil Crawford makes you richer for it. I think that there's a reason why folks want to have him at their conferences and speaking at events, and to know Phil is as a friend and as a colleague, a business partner, is really something that makes people have more value in their life. And I do think that you have affected a lot of people. I can say that on behalf of everyone that I think knows you. If you say Phil's name, it's always in good circles. So, kudos to that, because there's not many people out there that I think have touched as many folks, especially this hospitality industry that you've been a part of for so many years. And so kudos to you for a life well lived and many, many more great years to come and making your mark on the world. So Phil Crawford, it's been a pleasure to have you on the Quick Bite podcast, and we will see you around the world.
Thanks for having me on.
The Quick Bite Podcast is proud to shine a spotlight on Giving Kitchen. an incredible nonprofit serving the food service community in times of crisis. From unexpected medical emergencies to natural disasters, Giving Kitchen steps in when life takes an unexpected turn. To learn how you can help support those who serve us every day, visit givingkitchen.org. And while you're at it, subscribe to the Quick Bite Podcast, where leadership meets heart, and join us in making a difference, one episode at a time. Quick Bite Podcast. Bite-sized conversations, big-time impact.